Harvard University, a beacon of academic excellence, once faltered in its understanding of the Filipino people. This lapse, occurring during a time when the world was rapidly changing, is a stark reminder that even the most esteemed institutions are not immune to the biases and misconceptions of their era. A surprising misstep for such a prestigious institution, it highlights the complexities of cultural and academic perceptions. During the late 19th and early 20th centuries, a period of immense change in the Philippines, Harvard's perception of Filipinos was clouded by the prevailing colonial ideologies of the time. The Philippines was undergoing significant transformations, from the Philippine Revolution against Spanish rule to the subsequent American colonization. This misjudgment, though seemingly a relic of the past, holds profound implications for our understanding of history and its impact on the present. It serves as a case study in how academic institutions can sometimes perpetuate rather than challenge prevailing stereotypes and biases. This essay delves into Harvard's historical oversight, exploring the factors that shaped its perspective on Filipinos during a pivotal era. By examining archival materials and historical documents, we uncover the layers of misunderstanding and the context in which they arose. We will examine the transition from Spanish to American rule and the deeply ingrained biases that influenced Western views of the Philippines. This transition period was marked by significant political, social, and cultural shifts that were often misinterpreted by Western observers. Furthermore, we will shed light on the enduring legacy of this historical misunderstanding and its relevance in today's world. By understanding these past errors, we can better appreciate the importance of cultural sensitivity and the need for a more nuanced approach to global history. To comprehend Harvard's perspective, we must first grasp the historical context of the Philippines during that period. The Philippines, an archipelago in Southeast Asia, has a rich and complex history that has been shaped by various colonial powers. Understanding this context is crucial to appreciating the nuances of its past and present. For over 3 centuries, the archipelago was under Spanish colonial rule, a period that began in the 16th century when Spanish explorers first arrived. The Spanish influence permeated many aspects of Filipino life, from religion and education to architecture and governance. This era was marked by resistance and the gradual emergence of Filipino national identity. Despite the oppressive colonial regime, Filipinos began to forge a sense of unity and identity, often through clandestine movements and uprisings. The late 19th century witnessed a burgeoning nationalist movement, culminating in the Philippine Revolution of 1896. This revolution was a significant turning point, as it represented the collective desire of Filipinos to break free from Spanish rule and establish their own nation. However, Spain's colonial reign was nearing its end. The Spanish-American War, which began in 1898, dramatically altered the geopolitical landscape. The conflict resulted in Spain's defeat and the subsequent ceding of the Philippines to the United States. The Spanish-American War in 1898 resulted in Spain ceding the Philippines to the United States. This marked the end of over 300 years of Spanish colonial rule and the beginning of a new era under American influence. This transfer of power from one colonial entity to another marked a new chapter in Philippine history, one that was filled with both hope and uncertainty. Filipinos were now under American rule, which was termed a protectorate but carried many hallmarks of colonialism. Under American rule, the Philippines experienced significant changes in its political, social, and economic structures. While some advancements were made, the period was also marked by struggles for true independence and self-governance, setting the stage for future movements towards complete sovereignty. The late 19th and early 20th centuries were defined by a pervasive belief in Western superiority. This ideology, deeply intertwined with colonialism, shaped how Western powers interacted with and perceived their colonies. The Philippines was no exception. Filipinos were often viewed through a lens of racial and cultural bias, portrayed as inferior and incapable of self-governance. This colonial mindset had a profound impact on how Filipinos were perceived in academic circles, including esteemed institutions like Harvard. The prevailing belief was that Filipinos lacked the intellectual capacity and leadership qualities necessary for self-determination. This biased perspective, rooted in colonial ideologies, formed the basis of Harvard's misjudgment. Western institutions of higher learning, while centers of knowledge, were not immune to the biases of the time. Harvard, despite its reputation, played a role in perpetuating these harmful stereotypes. The university's curriculum and research often reflected the prevailing colonial mindset, failing to acknowledge the rich history, culture, and intellectual traditions of the Philippines. This lack of representation and understanding within academia further marginalized Filipinos. Their achievements were often overlooked or dismissed, their voices silenced in the halls of knowledge. Harvard's role in this systemic erasure of Filipino capabilities cannot be ignored. It serves as a stark reminder of how even the most prestigious institutions can be complicit in perpetuating harmful stereotypes. Section 5. The Thomasites' Benevolent Educators, or Agents of Bias. Adding another layer to this complex narrative is the arrival of the Thomasites, a group of American teachers who arrived in the Philippines in 1901. These educators were part of a larger American effort to establish a public school system in the newly acquired territory, aiming to educate and uplift the Filipino population. Tasked with establishing a new education system, the Thomasites played a significant role in shaping the minds of young Filipinos. They introduced new teaching methods, educational materials, and a curriculum that was vastly different from what was previously available. While their mission was presented as one of benevolence and progress, their arrival coincided with the imposition of American culture and values. This was a double-edged sword as it brought modern education but also overshadowed local traditions. The Thomasites, often unknowingly, became agents of cultural assimilation. Their presence and the educational content they delivered began to shift the cultural landscape of the Philippines. Their curriculum emphasized American history, literature, and governance, which was intended to instill democratic values and a sense of civic duty among Filipinos. However, this often came at the expense of Filipino traditions and history, which were either neglected or downplayed in the educational system. This further reinforced the notion of Western superiority, contributing to the erosion of Filipino cultural identity and self-worth. The long-term impact of this cultural shift is still felt in the Philippines today, as the nation continues to grapple with its colonial past and its effects on contemporary society. Section 6. A legacy overlooked: Indigenous knowledge and Filipino luminaries. What Harvard failed to recognize was that the Philippines possessed a rich history of indigenous knowledge and intellectual prowess long before the arrival of Western colonizers. Filipinos had their own systems of governance, law, medicine, and art. They were skilled seafarers, farmers, and artisans. The archipelago had produced brilliant minds like Dr. Jose Rizal, a polymath, writer, and national hero. Rizal's writings, critical of Spanish colonialism, ignited the flames of Philippine nationalism. His intellect and courage stood in stark contrast to the prevailing Western perception of Filipinos as inferior. Section 7. The Unseen Brilliance, Western Bias, and Filipino Achievements. The Western bias prevalent in the late 19th and early 20th centuries had a profound impact on the recognition of Filipino achievements. Filipino ingenuity, creativity, and resilience were often overlooked or dismissed, their contributions to various fields marginalized. This lack of recognition stemmed from a fundamental misunderstanding of Filipino culture and capabilities. Harvard's oversight, symbolic of a broader trend in Western academia, resulted in a skewed historical narrative. It is essential to acknowledge this bias and its role in shaping our understanding of the past. Section 8. Echoes of the Past: Unpacking the Enduring Impact. The historical misunderstanding of Filipinos has had lasting implications. The stereotypes and biases that took root during the colonial era continue to resonate in subtle ways, influencing perceptions and shaping opportunities. It is crucial to recognize these echoes of the past and actively challenge them. By acknowledging the mistakes of the past, we can work towards a more inclusive and accurate understanding of history. It is only through critical examination and a willingness to confront uncomfortable truths that we can dismantle the enduring legacy of colonialism. Section 9. A Tapestry of Triumph: Modern Filipino Excellence. Despite the challenges posed by historical biases, Filipinos have consistently demonstrated their capabilities on a global stage. From the fields of science and technology to arts and culture, Filipinos have made significant contributions that have garnered international acclaim. These achievements stand as a testament to the resilience, creativity, and unwavering spirit of the Filipino people. They challenge the outdated notions of inferiority, and highlight the importance of recognizing and celebrating diversity in all its forms. Section 10. Righting the Wrongs, Harvard's Admission, and the Importance of Perspective. In recent years, Harvard has taken steps to acknowledge and rectify its past mistakes. The university has made efforts to incorporate a more inclusive curriculum, recognizing the contributions of marginalized communities. While these steps are a positive development, it is essential to remember that historical injustices cast long shadows. The story of Harvard's misjudgment serves as a potent reminder of the importance of perspective. It highlights the dangers of viewing history through a singular, often biased lens. By embracing a more inclusive and nuanced understanding of the past, we can create a more just and equitable future for all.